Alright, welcome to part 3 of the video series. So today we're going to focus on goal setting, also how to use those planners that I sent out that everyone can get for free when they sign up on the page. That comes free with all of the challenge group pages as well. So just to throw that out there, if you do sign up for the challenge group, that is something that comes with that, and I'm going to teach you how to kind of strategize, go through and make those goals, and how to use that effectively. You're not limited to just using what is in the bullet journal itself. You can add pages, you can make your own, use them however you want them. I just wanted to get you started with something that was going to be a good starting place and a good guide for you guys. So going with the bullet journal, and I'll post the link here for how you can get it, but the bullet journal is just a different way of journaling that basically allows you to make up your own rules. So instead of it just being, here's Monday, here's what I want to do for Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or the whole month, it allows you to kind of have different objectives on each page. So certain pages could be just places where you just dump your thoughts. If you've got a lot going on, you can just dump your thoughts onto one page. Ideas, if you're trying to plan something, schedule things, those kind of things can go on just a blank page. You can also have trackers. There's a couple different kinds, and I'll probably end up posting something that at least gives you a good idea, and will give you just some guidance on those. But sometimes they have them in shape, sometimes it's kind of like a grid where you fill in every single day that you actually complete that task. So say that you want to take vitamins, you would just write vitamins on the left side of the page, and then every day that you take the vitamins you fill in the block. If you miss one, you just skip that block and you keep moving on the next day. So this way it kind of creates this little grid pattern on this page. In the bullet journal I have just some honeycomb patterns that you guys can fill in. You can mark them off, color them in, whatever you want to do with them. But it was just to give you a good idea of different ways that you can keep those accountability things in mind, so that you're doing something every single day to make it into a habit, instead of getting started on something and then just stopping because you don't have a way of tracking how often you've been successful. So that's something that I really like to teach people, is keep track of everything that you've been successful at, because if you have a bad day, it's so hard to see what you did well, how far you've come, how close you are to your goal. It's really easy to just kind of lose track and lose sight of that, because you just see yourself as failing for the day, and that doesn't have to be the case, but that is something that really derails people, because they just don't see how far they've actually come. It's much easier to see how far you have to go or what's going wrong. It's just really something that we're not programmed, we're not very good at, is seeing the good and seeing the progress. So keep that in mind, just to make sure that you are being a little bit easier on yourself. This is something that is meant to be a lifestyle change, so something that kind of changes for the long term. So if you don't get it right all 30 days in a row, it is what it is, but just do your best during that 30 days, and then just kind of reset, make a new goal for the next 30 days, or continue on with that one, and it's going to be much easier. Eventually you're going to get to a point where you really do just kind of do everything naturally. So with the bullet journals, like I said, you can have something that is totally open and blank. You can have something that you fill in. There's also, I just put little tokens with a 1 in them for you to cross off for each pound that you lose. I put a lot of tokens in there. Some people have more weight to lose, and so they'll lose more during the 30 days. Some people don't have very much to lose, so I didn't want it to be discouraging. But I did want to give enough so that people would be able to, if they lost more, continue on with it without having to print off another page. So you can do something like that. You can draw out little scales, little tick marks. If you want to keep track of measurements, you can do that. You can just draw out like a little tape measure. You can do whatever works for you, just so that you can see again how far you've come and what you've actually accomplished, so that if you do have those bad days, something that really works is you can take washi tape and put it on the side page of a journal, and that way it's kind of like a bookmark, and you can go back and just kind of put a little bookmark every single time that there's something to celebrate in there. Something else that people have done is taking a jar, like a mason jar, and writing down every victory. So every time they lose a pound, every time they change a clothing size or clothing is fitting different, every time they notice a change, you've got to take the time to actually acknowledge those, because it's so easy to just say, oh yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not going to celebrate it. But these are things to celebrate. You're doing a weight loss program, or you're trying to lose weight. You're working towards a goal, so why not celebrate everything along the way? So that's really the whole point of the bullet journal, is just to make sure that you guys are actually celebrating those victories and not just getting stuck on how far do I have to go, this is taking so long, you know, those negative thoughts that everyone gets into, because 30 days is a long time. It doesn't seem like it in retrospect, but while you're going through it and when you actually have an end date in mind, it does seem like a long time. So just make sure that you're giving yourself reasons to continue moving forward and constantly reminding yourself why you started in the first place and what you're actually working towards. With goal setting, you do need to set smaller goals along the way. So let's say that you have 10 pounds to lose. You need to really be celebrating every pound that you lose along the way. You also need to set goals that aren't based on the scale, because the scale is a horrible measure. It doesn't really mean anything of value. Just to let you guys know, I am 20 pounds heavier than what I was in high school, and I fit in those clothes still today. Some of them are a little tight, especially like around my shoulders where I've grown a little bit of muscle, but regardless, I'm essentially still the same size I was in high school, but I have gained 20 pounds. And it's been a healthy 20 pounds. It's been muscle. It's just something that is hard to get through to people, that weight is just not a very good measure. I know that it's nice to see the scale move, but it is so defeating when your only measure is the scale, because it's not telling you, oh, you have an extra 1 pound of water today, or you have an extra 1 pound of food in your belly, or whatever it is. So don't make the scale your only measure, because it's gonna get really, really disappointing. You're gonna just lose track. And that's one of the biggest reasons that people get derailed. People will talk to me all the time like, oh, I gained, 3 ounces, or oh, I gained 0.2 pounds, or whatever it is, and that doesn't really mean anything to me as a trainer. So people tell me all the time, I've gained weight back, or the scale's not moving and I'm just getting really disappointed, I don't understand why it's not moving. Without taking into consideration what's changed in your diet, what's changed in your hydration status, what's changed in your muscle density, all of these kind of things need to be taken into consideration. And as a trainer, I understand that, but as somebody who's trying to lose weight, I also understand where you're coming from, where it's frustrating, where you're not seeing the change that you thought that you were, I want to lose 10 pounds. Why am I not losing 10 pounds? Why am I stuck at 6? What's the deal? Why can't I lose this? And then you get into that yo-yoing because it was like, oh, I worked so hard for nothing. That's not true. You worked so hard and you actually accomplished a lot of things, but you chose not to see them because you were so focused on weight. So while you can set a weight goal, it's more important that you set measurement goals. So see where you're at as far as your measurements go in the very beginning, and then say every week do measurements, or every 2 weeks, whatever you want to do, and see where your measurements are going, because you're going to be able to see that maybe you are gaining in your arms or in your thighs, but generally arms and thighs are the muscle gaining areas. So a lot of times what that means is that you've lost fat there, but you've gained muscle. If you're losing in your abdomen, then a lot of that is just going to be fat weight that's you're losing. Take measurements of your neck as well. Take a picture of your face, a well-lit picture of your face, and then the next week do what's called a face-to-face. So take a well-lit picture in the exact same place week to week and watch what your face is doing. Watch if you're getting any leaner, watch your jawline, watch everything and see if everything is kind of shrinking down too, because people see it in your face first and you will as well. So find little ways that you can actually measure what's going on, and you can actually see what's going on. Take time in the mornings as well. Stay off the scale. If you're going to do the scale, do it at the very beginning and the very end, because like I said, hydration status, what you had to eat the day before, or 2 days before, that morning, that's all going to come into play and is going to throw things off. So do yourself a favor, stay off the scale, except for that very first day and then the very last day. And then do these other things. So measurements, do those in the very beginning, do those every week. Check your clothing sizes. So find something that fits you well, find something that fits you a little tight, and find something that you want to fit in. And every week, try those on and just be really, really objective about how do they fit, do they fit different, what's going on with them, have you moved down into that next outfit, have you moved down a size, what's really going on with your body, instead of just what does the scale say. So those are going to be some much better indicators, and with goal setting, these need to be the goals that you're setting every week. So how close did you come to accomplishing the goal of losing, you know, some inches or an inch? How close did you come to accomplishing the goal of getting into the pants that were a little bit tighter, but now that they're fitting a little bit better, maybe you could go out in those pants? How close did you get to the goal of actually getting into those pants that didn't fit, or the dress that didn't fit? Where are you at actually, instead of, you know, is the scale telling you that you're on track? So these need to be something that you do every single week. Make the scale weight your start and end goal, but keep in mind too that you also need to set a size goal. You also need to set like an inch loss goal. You need to set some goals that aren't going to be so disappointing if you do happen to gain muscle during this process. If you haven't been working out, you are going to gain muscle. That doesn't mean you're going to look bulky. It just means that you're going to have your muscle density a little bit higher than it was, which means since muscle's way more than fat, they're a little bit more dense, a little bit more compact, you're going to increase weight, or your weight might not change very much, but your inches will go down. So that's where you see the inch loss, even if you're not seeing weight loss on the scale. So use the bullet journals just to keep yourself accountable week to week. Once a week passes, try to just let it go. If it didn't go how you wanted it to, you have a whole nother week to totally reset everything and get back on track. Don't throw things away because you had a bad week or a bad day or a bad hour. If you go off track and eat, look at the cravings cheat sheet, look at what you ate and what you were craving and how to prevent that with your meal prepping for next week. Kind of make goals that way too. What went wrong? How are you going to fix it for this week so that you can move forward, instead of doing this thing where you just kind of go backwards, spin your wheels a little bit, go backwards a little bit more, and just kind of give up. So the bullet journal, I'm also going to do the live Q&As every Sunday. So I'll announce those in the private Facebook group. For my challenge groups, if you would like to be a part of that, that is going to be $5 off still through Sunday. You can go to www.ironbellonline.com/challenge and sign up for those. And again, that's $5 off through Sunday. You can get into the group up to that following Saturday. So I think that's the 7th. It'll be the full price, and you're going to be a little bit behind, but you can kind of catch up and do the workouts as we go. So that is something that I do offer with all of the challenge groups, is everyone gets entered into the private Facebook page. You get an invitation to that, and then that allows you to not only sit in for the live Q&A for questions that you might have, offer suggestions for things that I can help with for that week, and then I also do a live goal setting during that. So just making sure that everyone's on the same track, that you guys know that I'm there for you. This isn't just another, like I say on my website, pay and be on your way. You actually are getting contact with me, and I think that that's one of those things that's just really important, especially when you're trying to lose weight. I'm going to post the website and then also the cravings cheat sheet, how you can access that. It's actually on the website, so when you go to the main page, you can get that there. The bullet journal is in the shop on the website, or if you scroll all the way down and do the subscribe, that'll also send it to you. So if you have any issues, send me a message on the Iron Bell Online Facebook page or at ironbellonline@gmail.com.